All right, hey guys, let's go ahead and talk about our barbell strength training classes for the late spring and summer of 2018. So for the past couple years now, we have implemented our barbell strength training classes. It's gone awesome. Really cool that we can kind of convince some folks to really focus on their strength in the form of a 1 hour block of time that is dedicated to getting better, at the squat, some kind of upper body push, and then some pull. So right here, you see that we have kind of the what and the template that we have for the summer. What we've noticed, and this is going to be the template for like the first, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks. In the second part, we'll kind of break it down a little bit more, focus a little bit more on strength. But one of the things I wanted to talk about here is this concept of when you guys first started, whether it was, when you're an infant and you're starting to learn to kind of, move around and crawl and walk. If you think about that concept, you've got things we're working on like motor control and coordination. Then eventually, if we want long-term success, it's probably better to enter into a little bit of like muscle endurance before we get into the strength. So if you use that analogy of when you're first, you got a toddler kind of learning things, that same concept, when we have someone who's getting into strength training, that same concept. And it's really important that we've noticed that the folks who have the best kind of long-term success enter into reps and muscle endurance first before they build the strength. What happens is if we start too early, getting in like 5s, 3s, 1s even, that you might get that 1 rep max up quicker and faster, but basically your upper end strength, we've noticed, isn't necessarily going to be as high. So what we're doing here, you see we're bumping the reps up a little bit higher. We've got some 10s here for the back squat. We want to make sure those of you that have been doing this for a while, you've got your 5s down, you're setting all kinds of strength number PRs, that we just remember, like we did this last cycle, it was about 16 weeks. You need to start on these 10s much lighter than what you could. You're not trying to go for like a max effort here. So if you can throw in 185 for 10, you think you're going to be pretty, do fine with that. You might want to start with 155 or 165, and then progressively we'll slowly, add on 2.5, 5 pounds maybe each week. So we've got the back squat. I didn't write the integrated mobility in here. That's for, another time to talk about. I don't want to confuse you, but we've got back squats for 10s, the press for 10. We put in a whole lot of bench pressing here the past 4 months because we hadn't been doing much bench press. Now we're all bench pressed out. We need to really focus on the press, doing higher reps. Once again, you're going to butt up against the wall really quick if you go too heavy to start off with the press. Also, if on week 2, 3, 4, you're adding 5 or 10 pounds to your press, it's a surefire way to stall out quick. So start a little bit lighter and have much smaller jumps, even with the 1 1/4 or the 2.5 jumps. The bent over row, awesome movement. Start light as well. Really important that each bent over row repetition starts from the floor and ends on the floor. So it's starting from a dead stop. Got a video online on YouTube if you want to check that one out. And then last thing, deadlifts. More than anything, start light on these, much lighter than you should. Every deadlift rep starts from a dead stop. I'm going to repeat that. Every deadlift rep starts from a dead stop. You stand up with it and you return it back to the floor for every single rep. If we want to do something that's more of a touch and go style, like the sporting aspect of CrossFit, that's something a little bit different that we can talk about. But what you might want to do, if starting from the floor every single time, it's not a good idea for whatever reason, we can do some RDL, some Romanian deadlifts, where we're starting from the top, we go down, we're not losing tension, you might not even touch the floor each time when you come up. If you want to talk to me about that, whether or not that's a good idea, talk to me. But there you go, we're going to have integrated mobility along with each movement, progressively building up over, months, probably about, we'll say 6 weeks at a minimum, upwards of 8 to 10 weeks of running this, depending on how consistent you are with your training and your travel. And then slowly, if and when you're ready, we'll bump you back down to 5s. We'll probably have some cool event again at the end of the summer to kind of test. More than likely it'll be the back squat, the press, and the dead. And then the last thing is on Saturdays we have a awesome 2-hour block of time that you can either come in for the first hour or just the second hour, or you can come in for both those hours. It'll be a little bit different training template in that 2-hour block, a little bit more volume there. Those of you that really want to get in on that, reach out to me and we can come up with that. Coach Josh is going to be there on Saturday, so it's going to be really great great tool for you if you want to use it. So in summary, we're bumping it up. Why? A little bit more, give you some time to get some reps in, the coordination, a little bit more muscle endurance before we enter in and realize all the work that we're going to put in. We're going to realize a little bit later in the summer. Go light, go much lighter than you think you should. After 3 weeks, you're just like 4 or 5 weeks, you're just ready to get after it. Then we can add some weight there, but especially on this deadlift. I don't want to hear of anybody wrecking their back.